Hundreds of thousands of protesters took to the streets this Tuesday, breaking France to a standstill. For a second time this month, different unions from school teachers to railway workers staged a massive strike against government plans to raise the retirement age. Despite this, French President Emmanuel Macron is standing firm on the planned pension reform. In France, on the railway networks this Tuesday, only 1 in every 3 high-speed trains was operating. This has pushed the French Transport Minister Clement Beaune to recently announce that the government is looking into reforming the country's laws when it comes to strikes, saying the government wants to follow the Italian style when it comes to the laws there for strikes. But what does that exactly mean? First of all, in Italy, railway workers are not allowed to strike during holiday season. So that includes Christmas, Easter, and also in August when a lot of Italians go on vacation. Also, the unions have to provide a minimum service level of transport if striking during the rest of the year. That means that certain workers have to keep the trains operating. And, for example, that includes up to 50% of operational trains during peak hours. They also have to give a 10-day notice, while in France it's only 5. So how do other countries in Europe compare? Well, in Portugal, for example, there's also a similar law like in Italy, which imposes a minimum service in essential sectors such as transportation. And the government is allowed to call on its workers to guarantee that at least 25% of the trains are operating during strikes. In Spain, a minimum service is also guaranteed, but it's a little bit less strict than in Italy and in Portugal. 1 long-distance train per day must be operational, and up to 60% of regional trains must keep running during a strike. And this also includes a mandatory 8-day notice prior to announcing this industrial action. However, in Austria and Germany, it's a little bit more strict. Civil servants do not have the right to strike as their services are considered essential. But in Germany, these workers only represent 30% of the personnel in the public service, since the rest are considered private sector workers, making it therefore possible for some civil servants to strike. And it's not just France that felt inspired by these Italian strike laws. In the UK, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is considering a bill imposing a minimum service in transport and emergency services during industrial action as the country faces historic protests.